Hello, welcome back to Mrs. Hewitt's Spelling at Home. So this is your Key Stage 2 word study session. I have got another great root word for you today. So this is what we're going to be studying today. It is the word morph. Okay, so do you think that morph is a bound morpheme or a free morpheme, and why? Okay, it is a free morpheme because it can be a word on its own, okay? It can be a verb. So the actual root comes from the Greek morph, meaning a form or a shape or to take form, okay? So actually we can talk about morph some characters may be morphing or changing shape. So to morph is to shape basically. We are going to look at our word grid and you're going to build some words. There aren't loads of words, but I do want to talk about this because in itself, this grid is a morpheme grid. So I want you to think about why it may be called that and where the word morpheme has come from. So I'm going to hold the grid up and you can pause the video and build your word sums. Okay, so let's see what you did. I have put at the top there, like I just said to you, just adding the verb ending ing. Okay, you could also have morphed in the past tense, so that something was shaped in the past. You may have heard of a little plasticine character called morph from the 80s and 90s. Google it if you don't know it. But that's all to do with it could change lots of shapes, become lots of shapes. So that would be where it comes from basically as well. The character would have been named after this. So we've got morphing. I have put there a morpheme and morphology because that is what we are using to learn our spelling. So each of these are morphemes, aren't they? Because they form a word. They are all different forms of the word and each of them has a meaning. So these are all morphemes. And morphology, the ology is the study, like we have chronology for time, don't we? Anything with ology, technology, study of techno things. So the ology on the end is the study. So morphology is the study of morphemes and of the form of words. Okay, so we are studying today morphemes using our morpheme grid. We are using morphology. I am a morphologist if I am a professor of morphology, but that's where that word comes from basically. Okay, so looking at the form of the words. Now we've got here metamorphosis, a really long word here, metamorphosis. And again, this is from the Greek. So meta is a Greek prefix. Again, if the root word is Greek, it will only attach itself to Greek prefixes. And if it is Latin, it will only attach itself to Latin prefixes. So meta and poly are both from the Greek. So if I told you that a meta meant change, would you be able to figure out what metamorphosis is? And can you think of an example of metamorphosis? Do that now. Okay, let's see how you did. So meta meaning change shape. So metamorphosis is when something changes shape, a bit like when a caterpillar changes into a butterfly, because it's something that is changing its complete form. Okay, maybe a tadpole changing into a frog. That's a metamorphosis, coming from those literal meanings, meta meaning change and morph meaning form or shape. Okay, so you can see that all these words we use are actually really logical in how they got there, how they got put together, basically how they got built. So we have a metamorphosis. Put this one in here, which is morphine. You might hear about that, maybe when you're a bit of adult. It's a type of drug that's given to people for pain relief, and that's because it actually makes them go to sleep quite a lot. It changes their state really. So it would have got named from that. Originally, I did look that up to see why it was called that, and basically they just think because it makes people feel a bit better, maybe makes them feel a bit more relaxed, puts them to sleep, changes how they're feeling basically, but it is used as a painkiller really in severe hospital cases. And then this last one here I want you to figure out as well. Poly polymorphic. I'm not going to tell you what poly means, but I'm just going to make you think of the word polygon, okay, from maths. So polymorphic. First of all, what do you think poly means? And then what would polymorphic mean? So pause the video and have a chat about that. Okay, what did you think? So hopefully you've remembered from maths, or you've figured out that poly means many. So a polygon means many angles, okay? Because, like, hexagon, decagon, hex meaning 10, hex meaning 6, decagon meaning 10. It's actually not sides, it's with angles. So poly means many, morph meaning shape or form. So something that is polymorphic takes many shapes. Okay, so maybe you might hear of a superhero character that was polymorphic because it could take lots of different shapes, lots of different forms. Okay, so that's a bit of your word study there. Remember, poly meaning many. Okay, so it's your turn to write a sentence now. I'm not really sure which words you might use for this because they're not really words that you would use that often in your writing, but it is important that you know that morph does mean change, especially if you're sort of writing fantasy or reading fantasy type stories. You might hear about things morphing, being changing form. So maybe you could use something with that, or you could talk about your morphology and your morphemes. So there we go. Well done, another session done, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye.